Former Brexit Party MEP in for this hour is Belinda De Lucy. Good evening, Belinda, to you.
Good evening. You know me so well, James. I'm already a little bit of a fluster.
She's going over all flustered, getting a hot flush.
Golly, what are you wearing tonight? Mind you, that's what she asked about me when she came in. She said, "What am I wearing tonight?" I said, "Well, it's just,
Are you wearing your bow and arrow
sexy,
again?" That was
No, I'm not. No. I need to shoot it again, though. That's certainly a thing. Anyway, everybody, very good evening. Welcome. What?
And your bow and arrow. You should shoot that.
Yeah, thank you. A very good evening. Welcome to the show.
Across the UK, James Whale on Talk Radio.
Somebody put the bit out on Twitter today. Yeah. Might even have been you, Belinda, of you telling Monsieur Barnier that he was a pillock. It was very funny. I do like that.
Oh, really? I'd like to see that, yeah.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Have you never ever
I don't
seen
know.
it?
Maybe I have. I don't know.
Well, I'll see if I can find it on my phone. I'll play you the audio for those people watching.
Did you know what
TV.
pillock meant? I mean, Barnier.
It means... I'm not going to say. I'm so tempted to because he is.
He is. He might be the next French president, though.
Oh,
I mean, he's put his name in the ring, yeah.
Really?
Well, it won't be Macron, will it?
No. I think he's on his way out, I'm afraid. He was too immature anyway. He was quite a childish politician, so I don't think he'll last much longer.
You don't think so?
No, he's on his way out.
I mean, he is a bit, isn't he? He is a bit childish to be the... sorry, there's loads about you on my Twitter feed tonight.
Oh.
They all go on about how much hair you've got. I mean, why is anybody?
Well, she's always got a lot of hair. You know, so.
I have. I grew it all myself as well.
It's always very well conditioned, isn't it? And Timotei.
Dr. Carl Beattie keeps putting out my old TV shows. Carl, nice, thank you very much. You must come in one day, Carl. Carl isn't now a doctor, but he used to be. He used to be one of the cameramen on my TV show.
Oh yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? The way the world goes. Anyway, I can't find the bit. I can find lots about you, but I can't find the bit I wanted, which is really annoying, Belinda. But do you remember how it went?
Was that me having a word with Barnier and the rest of his clan, all the presidents for being immoral? Yes.
How did you take it?
Here we are. Found it. Listen to this.
And speak with the UK Speaker, having conversations that are directly interfering into our domestic politics. It exposes your intentions to intervene at all levels to stop Brexit. It is immoral. Shame on you. And Mr. Barnier, I note throughout your speech, sir, you kept referring to the British negotiators as just British. We are the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and that will never change. Brexit was not a rejection of Europe or our wonderful European friends. It was a rejection of the anti-democratic nature of EU institutions. And you confirm to us every day it was right to leave. Thank you.
I was so angry. I love it at the end. I go, thank you.
That was very brilliant, that was.
I was in a rage. Because when you're in the middle of it and you know all the shenanigans and the lies and the tricks that these people with power, unaccountable power, were playing against the British and the Northern Irish, you just know that they were wrong uns. And it was Shakespearean levels of knavery going on, and we were all a part of it, and I just couldn't stand it. It was so wrong. So anyway, yes, I didn't make many friends over in Brussels.
Well, they're still
No, you didn't, did you?
No,
but listen, let's talk. I mean, at the moment, Merkel is coming over tomorrow. She's a useless, stupid woman as well, because quite frankly, she's trying to turn the whole of Europe with France, and they're not going to manage either, against us. Yeah. I mean, she's trying to make Europe ban the Brits. I mean,
know.
What sort of thoughts go through her tiny little mind?
I think, one, she's on her way out, so she doesn't have much longer to serve. So she's getting quite frightened about her project. She's talking as if she's she's very insecure about the project, that she can no longer sell the EU on its merits. So she has to make examples out of the British so that no one else leaves. And, because we're doing quite well, there's no Armageddon, and Brexit is actually serving the Brits quite well. well. Merkel's onto sort of plan B, which is right. Now what else can we do to make it frightening for people to leave? Let's ban the Brits based on no reason whatsoever. The justification
Well,
she
our
gave
own
was
bad
rubbish.
publicity that we've been given out.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
why
that's...
don't we do it? If I was the Prime Minister, and I'm actually, we talked to Lord John Bird before, I think I might apply to become a people's peer.
Ooh.
Don't know how you do it, but
Do you
I'm
apply,
sure.
or doesn't someone say you should do it?
No, apparently you can apply
Just
for it
apply.
and say you want to be the, yeah.
We'll do
Anyway,
it,
it's
yeah.
a thought.
Yeah, you'd be
but
good.
if I was, I would say, look, Merkel, I don't want you. Go away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you were coming over to meet me at number 10. I don't want to see you at the moment because you're talking such rubbish and you're letting the people of Europe down because you are basically, aren't you, a dictator, right? So,
Yeah.
sod off, Merkel. You
The thing
ain't
is, if
coming
you were
over.
in the House of Lords, you'd turn up wearing your long leather thigh-high boots and all that stuff, wouldn't you? And wigs and things, and
Yeah,
you'd
what's
overdo
wrong
it.
with that?
You'd overdo it a bit.
No,
It's not like that anymore.
no.
I think you'd look great.
And I hear you were out drinking, by the way, earlier on some social media. Apparently you were out celebrating the England win against Germany.
No, I'd watched the game and I went out just to get some more tea bags because I like drinking tea during my game. And there was, it was
want a
just
gin and tonic?
filled with. No, I was being very good actually this time. And there were groups of young men celebrating, cheering, singing. I got hugs, I got high fived, and it was just such a.
Anything else you got?
No, I mean I know, not even a kiss or anything.
Well, the thing
Must
is,
be
if we
getting
win
old.
now, if we win the Euros now, it can actually be a big boost to the economy if you win something like that. And we've got Ukraine next, so we're playing Ukraine, so we'll win that. So we've got a shoe in for the final, and we'll probably be playing Belgium or Spain.
Can you imagine? I mean, that the emotion.
Then we'll
of it
lose
all.
in the final.
No, don't say
no,
that.
no, maybe not. We might not.
If we won against
Well, you need to
Germany.
keep yourself under control, Belinda, for that, because I haven't forgotten when we were out the other night.
I do tend to lose it when I'm very happy and the night is balmy and the stars above but it was a special win tonight, very emotional and very exciting. So I'm just thrilled for England.
Incredible.
Give her a hug from me, will you, Ash? Just pop over there.
We're
and
not
give her a
allowed,
hug.
are we?
Oh,
Why not?
Oh, is that allowed in America?
I don't know.
Give her a
yeah.
hug.
Well, no, might
Yeah,
get
go and give her a
arrested, I
hug.
mean.
Go on.
Why
You can
do-
only see this on Talk Radio TV, and
We're not
if you're
allowed
not
at
watching
work.
this, you're losing it.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Look,
I mean, we might
all
have
those
already
people-
anyway.
Yeah, we've already
Yeah.
had several hugs. They've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
lovely.
No, we haven't really.
yes, you
haven't.
have. You have. Well, who's going to do anything about it?
Yeah, exactly. Come and
authorities.
arrest me. I'm
What
done.
authorities? There's 60 million or something in Wembley today. They were singing, they
They're
were
all
chanting,
hugging each other,
they
weren't
were
they? Yeah.
hugging.
The footballers all hugging
you know.
each other, the dignitaries all
And so
hugging
why
each
should
other.
anybody else, who's that shouting in my ear?
Hailing.
And they would say, yeah, do you know, we have got the
Oh, they were swapping
shit-
shirts, which,
Yeah, but I
spreads
don't
diseases.
need Haley going on about how much she likes naked
want to swap
men in my
shirts?
ear while I'm
Swap
trying to
shirts.
do a serious, sensible show.
I used to when I went to watch the rugby. I'd always
Why
watch.
are you doing
swap
that?
my
After
England.
the show, we'll swap shirts like they do in football.
So
Ash.
always swap shirts.
Yeah, man.
That's why she was doing her zip up.
I'm not doing a zip up. What are
That's
you
your
like?
filthy imagination again.
Is it? I'm just, yeah. Anyway, listen, you know exactly what we're like. What do you mean, what are we like? You tweet it out all the time, what we're like.
No, I know it's fun.
Actually, why are you dressed up this evening, now I come to think about it?
Why wouldn't she be?
Yeah.
Well,
She always is
a
when
couple
she
of hours
comes in.
ago, she was out getting tea bags,
Yeah.
and now she's
Oh, well, I just
dressed in
put a jacket
black
on. This is just a jacket. It's
Oh,
just got
right,
it's
well,
just got massive shoulder pads like I'm from the 80s.
Did you go
like
out
a
in
space
half time for
jacket.
your tea bags?
No, at the end.
All right.
Yeah. No, it was all,
And
it's
why
all
are you
good, but the
talking like
streets
that
were
as well?
filled with people, just joyous
Yeah,
and
celebrating.
celebrating. And this is
but
what's
not drinking tea.
so sad is that all the weddings that have been reduced to 30 and the funerals, and they're probably thinking this just isn't fair.
60,000.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
fair.
Yes.
And I think Boris would be very wise to say tomorrow, right, rules are off, weddings, funerals, gatherings should just crack on. He can't say anything else other than from the scenes today.
No.
It's just not fair.
And after
No,
Matt
and
Hancock.
people walking around in offices and buildings wearing masks, they look ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not doing it.
Depends.
Arrest me.
Some have very nice
I'm
designer
not doing
masks. The guys at Virgin Radio,
And the
they have
people with
nice ones.
designer masks look absolutely stupid. I'm sorry. Absolutely stupid.
Depends what's
I mean, the thing is that it's just... I'll tell you what the saddest, and we'll move on and talk about something well, I don't know if it's more important or not, but I was with my grandchildren. Yeah, I have grandchildren. And Ella, my granddaughter, who is 16, well, nearly 17, she told me, not just 16, is very upset because her school ball or prom or whatever they call it now has been cancelled. And they've just decided to cancel it, and, you know, she just got the dress.
Yeah. A lot of them use it for an excuse, don't they, so they don't have to do stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses, they use COVID because they can't be bothered to do things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but schools, you know, these kids are coming up to the time when they're leaving school, and they're not going to have a really good end of school career time, are they?
And sports days, you can't go and watch if you're a parent, and that's what sucks. I mean, it's wonderful seeing the scenes today, but there are so many other areas that are cancelled, you know, to do with family life and coming of age events like galas and ceremonies and all the things that parents want to see their children do, and that's been taken away from us for no reason whatsoever. So, you know, it's a bit annoying.
Give me your thoughts as a former MEP, as we've just heard, and obviously a brilliant MEP, and hopefully going in again at some point. What are your thoughts that now Europe are going to require arrivals from the UK to isolate for 14 days? They think so. Nobody's going to go. I mean, what do you think we should do?
I think, to be honest, I think it's a really dangerous game that Merkel and Macron are playing, trying to persuade much poorer southern European nations not to take Brits, because their tourism industry relies so much on Brits going over and having a visit. And just because they want to stick it to the Brits, the Germans and the French, they're trying to take it away from Spain and Portugal and Greece and all these countries that really need us, and we need them. I think what's going to happen, I don't know if you've seen, sort of Greece has said, not on your Nelly, Merkel. We are accepting Brits.
They
and
want
you
us,
can't. They're defying, you know, Frau Merkel, and I think it's really brave. But, you know, this comes at a cost.
But why would Macron do it? Because a lot of Brits have second homes in France. A lot of Brits go to France on holiday every year. Why Macron isn't going to be there much longer?
They're
anyway.
punishing us, aren't they? And they bully like the smaller countries like Greece. That's what they do.
Because Germany and France don't care about economies. They care about their project. France is terrified of Germany. They have been since, you know, the First World War. They're terrified of an independent Germany.
Well, we stopped the Germans, don't we? I mean, the Germans are not going to do anything again.
That's what they said after the...
Well, think about it. The Germans are in control of the Corona Recovery Fund. They've got Ursula von der Leyen, the Commission president. She's German. They're in control of the vaccine.
Only name on the ballot as well.
She wasn't even elected. Exactly. There is an imbalance of power in the EU, and since the UK left,
it's a dictatorship.
They're not guarded from it
is
anymore.
A dictatorship.
So it is frightening.
It is a dictatorship.
They're lashing out, aren't they? A bit.
They are lashing out.
They're losing.
But the French people, and I know quite a lot from where I used to live in France, they want the Brits to come back. They want the holidaymakers to come
and
back.
Spain
the Brits that used to pop over to Brittany and, you know, to places not far away where the weather is wonderful, and they want us back. But what is wrong with these sodding politicians?
Well, I think that in part maybe Merkel said to her people that, you know, they don't have to race the Brits to get their towels on the sunbeds anymore. You know, that was always a major factor.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know what it is. I think that all the southern European countries will defy the northern ones like Germany, and they will accept the Brits because they're friends with us and they don't hold grudges, and they're also quite highly Eurosceptic because the southern countries have not fared well under the euro. Greece and Italy, certainly. I think the quarantining as well isn't as strict. I've had friends call up from Italy, you know, saying they don't really check on you.
I can't imagine Italians doing all that.
No, can you really? And all the paperwork? Nah. So I think it's a lot of talk and not really much action.
I always remember, one thing I remember, I went to Florence once, and I remember in that square where all the statues are, and I was just in a side street, and there were 3 policemen. And you know the policemen always look very smart. Have you ever noticed in Italy? Always very smart. There were 3 policemen looking in a shop window, doing all this to their uniforms before they walked out into the square, getting themselves really very, very tidy, and one of them pulling up his long boots. It was quite funny. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen, in fact.
Yeah, no, they're quite beautiful, actually, the Italian
Are they any
police.
good? Are they any good as police?
Oh gosh, can we stop talking about men you find? You're sitting in with two of the most beautiful men
That is
you could ever meet.
true, but you are talking about men in uniform as well.
Long boots.
Do you like that?
Of course.
Ash, slip out and put your uniform on.
All right, what, my talk radio uniform?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll take a short
What that
break.
looks like.
The Turner Contemporary, the museum, is. I suggest nobody goes there. Who would want to go there? Because they have now decided that they are going to the Turner Contemporary Gallery is going to replace kids' books with woke titles on race, climate change, and equal rights. What is wrong with these people?
I think there's a lot wrong with them. I think wokery is actually quite a dangerous thing to teach children. It ring fences people off from criticism. Certain groups it allows you to target. And you know, it's open season on certain groups with the woke. So they also try and brainwash children. There's no critical thinking. There's no questioning encouraged. It's this is the way you should think.
This is good and that is bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also anyone who doesn't think like you need to hate them because they are the
bad,
others.
and they should be cancelled.
Yeah, and they should be and it's so dangerous telling children to judge people on you know, certain identity groups that they belong to. It teaches division. So all these books that they're replacing, lovely children's books, you know, like Miffy. You know, I was reading the lovely Miffy, you know, the bunny.
Who's Miffy?
It's just an old children's book from the 80s.
I mean, that sounds.
And they've
rather
taken that off the
suggestive to me,
shelves, and now it's all lecturing.
They've still got the tiger that came for tea. Have they got that?
I
one?
don't know if that will be allowed for much
I hope
longer.
so.
But
Well,
yeah.
they're getting all upset about Enid Blyton, for goodness'
What about the
sake.
Wombles? Is the Wombles all right? Kids you don't see the Wombles enough anymore, do you?
No, I love the
And they were
Wombles.
environmentally friendly,
And
weren't they?
Paddington, he's probably going to get the chop.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
he's
they
like
are.
got cinema. He's got the film, hasn't he?
Oh,
He's
yes,
He's
well,
quite a
he-
movie star now, although you know it's not the same. Is it? It's not the same.
Well, they
Paddington.
wanted to take Fireman Sam off because he wasn't gender neutral and he
That's
was
true.
called Fireman Sam, and you know, he needs to be called a fire officer. I mean, there are no, I
Postman.
don't know who's sitting
Postman
around.
Pat.
Postman Pat.
Postperson Pat.
I don't know any women complaining about Fireman Sam or Postman Pat. It's a group of funny old weird people sat round a secret room making up what's offensive and what's not offensive and starting to lecture children instead of giving them creative fun fairy
And free
tales.
thought.
I'm
as well,
so
teaching
I'm
them to-
so tempted to say such a rude word. I'm so tempted to say, you choose the word you think I want to say, and I would like to say, off all of you, because you really are beginning to me off.
Yeah, I know. What
What's the
you're
word?
saying. Push off, of course. It's
Yeah.
push.
Yes, push off.
You can't say that.
They should.
Because you can't dictate, and that's what they're doing, and telling, you know, if you don't do what we say, then you are a non-person.
And also, you can't judge people from the past on today's standards. And authors from the past will obviously have spoken and talked in a fashion that we don't today necessarily, but it didn't mean they were bad people.
It's like degenerate art, isn't it? It's a bit
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
burning the books and the Khmer Rouge, Day Zero, you know.
Yes.
It's terrible.
I think every comedy's going to go. There'll be
Brother.
comedy
Well,
removed
it's
from
already
every
gone a bit,
child's
hasn't it?
book.
Yeah.
Roald
it
Dahl
has
isn't going to last very much longer either.
Well, I
No,
mean, his books are
no.
all right. It was just him that was a problem with.
Well, I loved him. I loved his books, but you know they're going to come for him. But the woke end up eating the woke anyway. It's a weird sort of woke cannibalism that goes on in the end until no one's left.
Well, that's true, isn't it? They go for, in the end. It's like that poem, isn't it? At first they came for this, and then they
Yeah.
and there's no one left.
It was like
wrote
it was
that
like
poem?
IKEA.
Who
you know?
wrote it? I don't know.
You know, when IKEA came out and said they're not going to support, you know, a certain new news channel anymore because it wasn't with their
I
human
know.
values. The founder of IKEA
I know.
was riddled with Nazi connections, and you know, they ended up exposing themselves and how terrible their history was. So you shouldn't really this woke.
Well, I don't
business-
wish
People
to
in
be
glass
too
houses,
rude about.
yeah.
I don't wish to be too rude about possible advertisers, but I went to that store once. I've never gone back. I bought something from there, and in the end, I burnt the bloody thing because I couldn't put it together. It annoyed me so much. Didn't cost very much. And in the end, I just put it on the bonfire and burns it.
And it's a
I
one-way
thought, what a
system,
waste
isn't it?
of
Once you
'cause
go
they
in,
have
you
everything-
can't get out. It's like the
Yeah.
ghost train, isn't it?
It's like
Yeah.
the labyrinth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go there. again
No,
for
I'm not gonna
anything.
go there again. No, they've gone woke. Anywhere that's gone woke and starts to lecture their customers, they're automatically insulting them, and I just don't
Patronising
think
them.
it's their business. A
Go woke,
furniture
go
shop.
broke.
That's a good-
Yeah, I'm not
Like the Gillette advert.
We're being lectured
Yeah.
absolutely everywhere by everyone, and it's just noise now. No one's listening, I don't think, anymore.
Let's choke the woke.
Yes.
I mean, not obviously physically choke them, but
Just virtue signaling,
annoy
isn't it?
them.
That's
Yeah.
all it is.
But it's getting very difficult because the media and the channel you were going to talk about, I mean, that is unfortunately, it's just become a bit of a joke, and I don't think it'll do you much harm anyway. But it doesn't seem to be able to get itself together very well, does it?
I think it's got legs. I think it's just
It's got a
early
lot better.
days.
It's
Yeah,
got a lot
it's early
better,
days.
and it's trying something new. I think.
Yeah,
which is
and
good.
you know what? I feel quite protective over it because they've put their necks out, these new presenters, to represent people who haven't been represented on the telly and in news channels.
Well, I
before,
disagree
and
because who's not been who's not been represented that I disagree completely. I don't see anything different about it at all.
Well, they're a bit anti-woke, aren't they? I mean, you compare it to Sky and BBC.
A bit, they're not. They're just the same as the sit there and then they say, and we're not going to be shouting at anyone. We're just going to be very nice and we're just going to discuss it. Dull. Sorry, and I know your best mate of mine works there, but all I ever see of her is putting her makeup on social media.
it's a big thing when you're a presenter. Get the makeup
Well,
right. Also, I
Well,
think it's
I've
really
spent hours-
brave because when you join a news channel like that's going to be called far right Nazi
But
channel.
it's not
the
a
rest of
news
it.
channel, is it?
It's-
It's like an old ladies' meeting place.
It's not. It's much. I think the content is excellent. It just needs a little bit improvement on
Have you
sound.
actually watched it?
Yes, I do. I don't watch BBC and Sky anymore. I don't.
Well, I should hope not.
Like a lot of people.
I'd rather you just watched us.
Yeah. I have
you,
talk
soon.
radio on all the time. But
Excellent.
no,
Well,
I've got
okay.
kids. I don't want them brainwashed by
Well,
other
no,
news
but I
stations.
don't see it doing anything different. But maybe I've only watched a few bits when the sound goes wrong and when other people kind of stare into the camera as if they're being hypnotised by somebody. I do watch it occasionally to cheer myself up.
Well, I think it's a real
And-
loss if it goes because it's the only thing
won't go.
keeping the BBC on its toes.
Well, apparently it's
why'd you
doing
say
very well
that?
with the figures, isn't it, against the BBC and Sky?
Yeah.
Apparently, within the first couple of weeks, it was.
Well, good. Well, I'm pleased.
Andrew Neil's
and-
gone for 2 weeks. He's just gone. I don't know where he's gone. Rumours
He's
are Strictly
probably-
Come Dancing.
He's probably having a anyway, never mind. Listen, the BBC shocking. That's the word I was going to say. Shocking, and it doesn't deserve to be on the air anymore. Don't get me going. And Sky have become completely left wing. Somebody rang me up the other day. Said, "Do you want to come and do a paper review?" And I said, "No." I used
They
to do
asked
them
you,
all the
really?
time for a year. For
I
years,
know.
used to.
Yeah, a lot of the people
Yeah.
who used to do it, they don't do it anymore. They got rid of
No,
them, didn't
because
they?
it's all
they changed.
woke and horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, that stopped us getting any work anywhere. That's quite good. Let's talk. You want a break? Oh, okay. Right, we'll do a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about French food. Do you like French food, Belinda?
Yeah, I love it. I love French
Apparently
food.
it's racist,
wine,
isn't it? Apparently.
cheese.
Well, we're all racist then.
Well, we're all white
racist.
supremacists anyway, aren't we? Just by our birth.
Well, that was an interesting
Because-
tweet you read earlier. We'll
Oh yeah, I'll mention the tweet after the
Yeah,
break
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. Last 10 minutes with Belinda De Lucy, MEP, former MEP, not an MEP anymore. Sorry about
Do you
that.
get pension though? You get a little pension?
Oh
do you?
no, of course not. No.
Why? Why not?
No,
Why
we
not?
were in the job for I think it was something like 3 months short.
Oh,
But I don't want to take
no.
any more of taxpayers' money for that useless job anyway. I'm glad. I don't even want people to know what an MEP is really in a few years. I'm like, you were a what? It was a thing
Do
of
you
the
get
past.
a bit of stick in public when you're around or not?
No, not anymore. I really did during those nasty years where the media were whipping up
What sort of thing?
hatred. Oh my gosh. I remember coming back from Brussels when we got to King's Cross and there was often groups waiting for us and women spitting on us. Oh, I was called the
No,
C word in the
really?
street, Nazi,
Oh, no.
C word, this, that and the other. I had cars pulling up beside winding down their windows saying C word.
James gets that a lot as well.
Oh, James, I'll protect you. Anyway,
That's fine.
it didn't
We-
bother
Not
me
for
that
political
much, but
reasons, though. No.
it's all over now. It's like everything's been diffused and everyone's moved on, and it's actually quite lovely.
The Remainers are a lot worse than the Brexiters. I mean, we
They
found
are.
that with you, James, didn't we? Because when you were,
You were in the dark side, James. weren't
yeah,
you?
and they were a lot worse, weren't they? When you changed, They were a lot worse than the Brexiters.
Well, yeah, I
mean, really
didn't
horrible
get
things.
much-
They say horrible things.
I didn't get very much stick from the Brexiters, and I was a Remainer because I hadn't really thought it through, and it seemed a good way of winding people up. Until then, I met this lady, and she sat me down and explained it all to me, and I realised, and now I have become even more vehement than Nigel. And Nigel was always my mate, even before, when he invited me to be the UKIP mayoral candidate right back the first time there was ever going to be a mayor of London. I'm
afraid you will always remain a Remainer, because that's what you can't give
shut
up.
up.
But
I'm
a
not
reformed
a
one,
Remainer.
a reformed Remainer.
I'm not a Remainer, mate.
Well,
I
yeah, I mean,
realised
you
I
are.
was
You're
wrong, and I'm
you
prepared
always,
to
I've
admit it.
missed this. Oh my God, it's like I yearn for the days where this was all we had to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah, the good old days.
Well, listen, if we take you out once a month, the two of us, and we just reenact the old days
Yeah,
for you.
lovely. Get a bit
do
of
that.
Brexit
Would you like that?
banter. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. It was uplifting.
Okay,
It
what are we
gauged
going to do
people.
about what are we going to do about this Dr. Cohen who says French food is racist, and we've talked about everything else that is racist. But I'm going to try and see if we can't get him on the show tomorrow. I imagine he probably won't. But these
What
sort
is
of
it?
people
I don't understand
can't-
why it's racist though, because it's eaten by white people.
Because these people are
don't
pillocks.
get it.
That's
Oh.
why. All of these people now who suddenly think, and there are quite a few reactionary ones, who think they are getting the upper hand. You get the upper hand because you're intelligent and clever enough to do so, not because the colour of your skin happens to be trendy at the moment.
Is the British
Because
fry-up,
none
is
of
that
us-
racist? The
Oh,
great-
none of us-
It's got to be, hasn't it? The great British fry-up.
None of us can help the way we are. We were born like it. Is the British pie racist? Of course
No,
it
the British,
is.
the British breakfast.
That's racist.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yorkshire
really?
pudding, roast beef and
Racist,
Yorkshire
isn't it?
pudding.
Definitely
How
racist.
much more racist can you get
Spotted
than
dick.
roast beef and Yorkshire pudding?
But think-
Scotch egg, that's
That's really
flipping-
racist.
Well, that is racist.
Yeah.
It's a Scottish egg.
How dare
Yes.
they? How very dare
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
But think of how many careers depend on racism thriving. You've got that Dr. Shola woman who's always on ITV blaring out how
Well,
evil white
BBC
people
spending
are.
100 million on what was it,
Yes.
equality or diversity?
and-
How do you buy equality? How do you
People's
do-
jobs depend now on either getting that phone call wanting them to come on a show to talk about how racist Britain is, or they get paid to do a diversity job. So as long as it's thriving,
To do a what?
They've ordered £100 million worth of
inclusive-
diversity. How do you? I mean, what do you get when you order that?
It's just so.
Should we get some diversity person on the show when
You should.
Belinda's on next?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be such fun.
And set you and her against each other and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not.
And
for
who was that? Who's that other woman who goes mad? You said? Who's she?
Oh, that's a Dr. Shola, someone or other. She's really anti-white and peddles a huge
Really?
amount of white racism against whites. And she's on, I think it's ITV or Good Morning Britain or something like that all the time, shouting, angry, full of hate.
About what?
Oh, about white people, about
Oh,
everything we
we've
do.
got to have her on.
Everything
Do you
we
think
are.
she's stupid enough to come on my show?
No, I think she'd be too scared because
She might not
I
be
don't know
that
if she wants to-
stupid.
No, I don't know. No, so they
Because
don't-
I have to be very careful when I want guests that are going to yell at me because they are in some way not heard of the show and they haven't realised, because it's always quite fun. And I tell you who we could get on as well about winding up about Brexit again. What's his name? Excuse me. He used to come on all the time.
Who?
What was his name?
Adonis.
Feminine.
Oh, Feminine. That's his name.
Femi.
Fe-
Femi.
Femi.
That's it, yeah.
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 Oh yeah,
Yeah, the puppet, the ever excitable puppy dog that just nips
with
the
his tight
ankles.
t-shirts.
Yeah, this tight
his
baby,
tight
his
t-shirts,
baby
yeah.
t-shirts.
I think he sets his washing too high, the temperature.
Maybe I should actually ask him if he needs a personal shopper. Listen, with all this, Belinda, we have to go because it is the bewitching hour. You okay to get home?
Yes.
You be quite okay to get home?
Yeah, thank you. That's so considerate. Such a gentleman, James.
No, I don't
What
want
would
you
he do?
out
What
there
would he say if she wasn't?
Just to
He'd
make
just
sure I
recognise
leave.
you
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and call you rude names. I mean, I would give you Ash to take you home, but he's wanted.
He's busy.
Right, Belinda, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
indeed. See you next
See you
week.
next